which have contributed to reducing hostile activities in our region. The transatlantic bond remains fundamental to our collective security. While Europe must continue to assume greater responsibility for its own defense, the United States remains an indispensable ally. A strong and united transatlantic relationship is essential for credible deterrence and defense. In these challenging geopolitical times, speaking in one voice is more important as ever. Continued support for Ukraine is equally important too. NATO must continue its assistance to help Ukraine defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Lithuania has contributed around 1 billion euros in military aid in 2025 and will maintain its strong support. We encourage all allies to contribute fairly, as a just and lasting peace in Ukraine is directly linked to security of Lithuania and of Europe as a whole. Thank you so much again for such a very welcome meeting. And as we speak before, I hope that next meeting will be in Lithuania.
Absolutely. I look forward to that. Thank you so much.
All right. We now have time for a few questions. Let's start with DPA.
Ansgar Hase, German press agency DPA. Secretary General, I would like to ask what you make of the fact that Hungary, a NATO ally, is currently blocking an important loan to Ukraine and also new Russia sanctions against Russia. Have you already spoken to Viktor Orban on this issue? And if not, do you see a possibility for you to mediate in this conflict? And for sure, Prime Minister, I would also like to hear your view on this issue. Thank you.
Well, let me start by saying that Hungary has been a valued NATO ally for more than 25 years now. And it makes really important contributions to our shared security. So that's the first remark I want to make. And then, as you know, when there are discussions ongoing between allies, always my role is not to comment, but to try to be helpful wherever I can. And what that is, I cannot tell you till it has been successful.
For me, it's a very sensitive question because I came from the place, the country which feels the pressure and threats. So we understand, Lithuanians understand how it's important to invest in Ukraine winning, how it's important to stop the killing people. So I just wanted to say that European Union have to find the way to bring this kind of decision on the going way, to bring these decisions onto reality, and stopping this kind of support is not acceptable for us.
Okay, let's come to the Lithuanian public broadcaster in the third row, please.
Yeah, thank you, Lithuanian public broadcaster Milda Velikanskite. I would love to speak in Lithuanian, but unfortunately, we'll ask in English. I have two questions. One is for both of you about air defense. It is still an issue in Lithuania. In other also Baltic countries, are there any plans to strengthen this area in the near future? Or maybe you mentioned, Mr. Secretary, air police missions. Maybe there can be changes in that way on some level. And the next question for Mr. Mark Rutte about United States troops and presence in Europe. Many countries have their concerns, Lithuania as well. Our Prime Minister speaks about the necessity to have a plan B if United States would decide to withdraw its troops from Europe. Would you say that such plan B is necessary for Europe? And maybe you have any newest information about United States plans. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. On the first question on air defense, obviously this is an issue which we are working in, day out. on this issue. And when you look at the capability targets for our allies, it's clear that this is an absolute priority. I've spoken a lot about this, that we need to basically ramp up by 400%, so 5 times what we have currently in terms of air defense. And that will, of course, take some time, but I can assure you we will get there. And we can defend ourselves today, but we want to be sure that also in 2, 4, 6 years from now, we are able to defend every inch of NATO territory. And therefore, this is such a priority. And air policing, of course, is very important. We have the air policing missions ongoing. We are constantly evaluating with all the allies where we can do more, where we can do better. At the same time, you understand this is not something I can talk about in public, but you can be assured that we are constantly primarily, of course, our military leaders, the Premier Commander and the Joint Force Commands are constantly looking into how we can make sure, together with Aircom, that we do the max here. But clearly, we need more investments on this. We have taken those decisions. This is why The Hague was so important. And this brings me to the second question. Because there is no doubt that the United States is completely committed to NATO, completely committed to Article 5, not only because there is an historical reason for the US to be involved in the defense of Europe, but because the United States very much feels, understands and realizes that for the defense of the United States, it's crucial to have a safe and secure Europe, a safe and secure Arctic and a safe and secure Atlantic. And you have heard the speech of Bridge Colby, the senior policy Under Secretary of State for Defense at the Pentagon, at the Department of War in Washington, speaking here during the defense ministers meeting. He published his text. This was absolutely clear. Appreciating the immense extra, hundreds of billions extra coming in Europe now in terms of defense spending. And Lithuania is a case in point, leading the pack now with the almost 5.4% of GDP spent on core defense. But many other countries, the Germans, doubling their defense spending in 29 compared to 21, over 150 billion euros each year spent on defense. This is what the US wanted. This is why the US was irritated with Europe, because